Hey, this is Jackie Chin. You're not going to believe where I am. I'm in a basement. Can you check this out? Look at this. Isn't that crazy? I'm in a basement. I'm in all-American comic shop basement. And we're going to flip this around so maybe you can see actually what I'm looking at. Oh, well, there's a prime suspect right there.
Yes.
This is James Schultz. Say hey. Good, good. Eric Prestly.
How's it going?
Matt Jefferson.
Hello.
And do we have any idea who this guy? This guy keeps following me around. I have no idea. Sometimes I see him in my own bedroom. It's kind of weird. But
Any questions?
yeah, another question. Right. All right. So, Storm, what are we going to be doing today?
Well, we're going to be interviewing these three characters and finding out what they've been up to lately. And we've got some interesting tales to tell on each other.
We're going to be doing some film here too. All right. How did I get stuck holding this camera thingy over here? I'm gonna give you back to the camera guy. He's gonna be the camera guy. Good luck with everybody watching this and all-American comic shop
In the basement.
in the basement. And if you want to come around and like
Surrounded by props.
surrounded by
props.
props and whatnot. I'm gonna do over here.
One of our many film locations.
Yeah. Part of the reason why.
There's no way to get everybody in here in one shot.
Part of the reason why we're here is this is one of the locations for a wolf in sheep's clothing, and we're going to be talking with Matt Jefferson. This is your film. Your film. Oh, that's right. That's your. Downfall of Mr.
Producer and cameraman here.
Downfall of Mr. Difford is yours.
Yeah.
Right here. And yeah, I've never done this before, so I'm kind of like, I'm more nervous than I think they are. Pretty much. You get a shot of camera guy over here. Fascinating, I know, right?
Jesus.
Okay, all right. So, tell me about how a wolf in sheep's clothing got started and the different kinds of roles that you have for the film and a little bit about the props and the different people that you decided to bring in on it.
Basically, this got started from a downfall of Mr. Difford, which was Matt's film.
You can go to the store and buy it online, so please do so.
Don't turn it sideways because
$15 a
if
pop.
you turn it sideways, they won't be able to see it right. You have to hold it only upright. Isn't new camera guy?
Oh, okay.
Usually,
okay.
usually we
There are plenty of
have.
times in my life I've been upside down, so.
Usually I'm being shot.
Yeah.
All right. So I met you, what, about 6-8 months ago?
Around June, yeah.
Yeah, around June. And we were talking a little bit about this film. What is it about doing film work and indie film work specifically that you enjoy?
For the most part, I guess it started back when I was in high school. That's when I actually started getting into story writing. It first started with poetry and short stories, but I've always noticed as a kid, I've always been fascinated with films. I've always been fascinated with different characters, portraying different characters and things like that. So that's kind of where it started. It wasn't until after high school that I decided that it's okay, instead of just talking about it, I actually want to be about it. I want to be working film. I want to see what I can do to get into filmmaking.
And so, what was your very first experience with getting into starting a production?
Starting a production, I'd say that was probably a couple years ago. It was probably a little while after we had finished filming The Downfall of Mr. Difford when I started writing the screenplay for Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. Originally, it was just going to be me as the writer, Matt is the director, Matt can direct the film, and it started as kind of like a spin-off. You know, just kind of a joke, just what would happen if we took some of the characters from Difford and they kind of had their own solo film. It wasn't until Matt one day out of the blue, he contacted me and he said, hey, remember you saying you wanted to get into filmmaking? I was like, okay, yeah, where are you getting at with this? And he asked, he's like, well, would you like Wolf in Sheep's Clothing to be your first student film? And of course, I immediately jumped on board. I was like, yeah, definitely, that would be a great opportunity. You know, that led to Jim getting involved. Jim wanted to be a cinematographer, cameraman, prop designer, which he's been, as you can see, man's been nailing it with.
What are some of the things? Well, first of all, how did you meet him, and what was it about him as a creative artist that you feel would help aid your film?
Jim? Mm-hmm. Funny story. I've known Jim since
this should be good.
I went to high school with his oldest son, James. Yeah, so that's kind of where, technically, is where I first met him. Me and James were in a junior high. We used to do class projects, we go over to each other's house and just hang out. And that's technically when I first met Jim. Now we didn't meet up again until around, I said, it was 2006. Was at the
for a project called The Dead of Moment.
Yeah.
And you had written quite a bit in that film. I reconnected through that.
What kind of background do you have? That you can say
I can say yeah.
that they won't come get you.
Well, yes.
Are you into this, guys? I see that you have a little bit more facial
No,
hair.
because I don't have to shave. I have a job that I don't have to shave or get a haircut. And it hasn't been this long since high school.
I looked at him and I'm like, I've known James for quite a while, and I'm like, what? You have more of you.
Yeah.
That's the way to put it.
Yeah. But in answering your question, it goes back to my childhood. I was always interested in films. And my father had a regular 8 camera and a Super 8 camera. He used to shoot a lot of films. And when I was younger, I'd watch a lot of movies and ask my dad, well, how did he do that? And he'd explain it to me. And I got interested. I knew he had some Super 8 cameras, so my friends and I would start shooting just literally stuff in the backyard. And we would do stop motion animation with G.I. Joe Adventure Teams, Planet of the Apes figures, and Aurora dinosaur models. And it just kept going from there. So, and at that time, obviously back in the 70s, there wasn't the internet, so you could go to the library or magazine. And at that time, there was Famous Monsters was still around, and I would read that. And then after Star Wars came on, there was Starlog, and from Starlog magazine, there was another one called Cinemagic, and that actually showed you how to do stuff. So I would get those and read them. And my father would periodically, he'd go on a business trip or something, come back, and would bring me filmmaking books. So that just, kept that going.
How important do you think it is for young people to be exposed to doing things like this, instead of just only being on their cell phones doing some mindless something or other, like Facebook?
Yeah. You know what? Me personally, I think it gives them a better creative outlet. Actually go out there and discover what they like to do, what appeals them, the more things and stuff, like props and set design and costuming and all that, and really appeals to me, and camera work does too. But I kind of found my niche at 54 years old, that I really like doing the props and stuff, and I'm geared towards that.
Talk a little bit about some of the props that we have on the table, and what kind of things that folks are going to see once this production is finished with some of this stuff going on here.
You know what? I'll start here and then.
Go ahead and.
So, as we have here, they're just plastic, and these are airsoft attachments. And eBay, you can get them for $5-6, free shipping, and they're like that. But what I do is take those, I will repaint them to look like an actual, M9 bayonet, military issue. And it looks fairly good. I got to touch up a little bit of paint on it. But I mean, you can use it in the scene and be safe with it. I've also came across these fairly realistic badges, and I have 6 of them. A couple of the gold ones for Vic and Gordon to wear since they're the detectives. And I came across these, and these are kind of hard to find. And a little trivia, if people really care. In a lot of movies, if you notice, sometimes the badges are these exact same ones. You know, so I'm like, hey, cool. But and then other stuff like these rubber training knives, and they're fairly cheap. And you can see we actually use this in a scene, you know, but they're safe. And then I can make background stuff for set decoration because I'm kind of into that. But that's just stuff I pulled off the internet, and it would fill in with Windows Paint, just the names and stuff. And then you can get frames at Goodwill for like 99 cents. And so sitting in the background, it adds a little bit more to the scene. Mm-hmm. You know, when it's not there, you notice it. But when something is there, you accept it, if you can understand that.
Talk to me about the importance of getting not only to get the details on the props correct, but what kind of things do you do with the actors that are coming on board? Now, a lot of these people that are indie, they don't have a whole lot of either military background or anything to deal with weapons, and sometimes this is their first time encountering having to hold one or having to use one. Talk about that part of it, and then talk about what kind of things you went through and are going through now for a wolf in sheep's clothing when it comes to using weapons.
What I like to do is get with the people ahead of time before we ever shoot a scene and ask them what is their experience. Yeah, like a military background, law enforcement, or even just personal, like a weapon. My better application is like handling weapon stuff, not necessarily a knife or anything.
Right.
If I need that, I will find somebody that's experienced in that and bring them in. But for like handgun stuff, I will go through them, and Eric test these. There's like a soldier in the zombie movie we worked on, and I had military guys with me, so they took Eric and showed them. And Jason and Eric, as police officers, I would run through stuff with Jason, how to hold it, how to retain your weapon, how to draw it out, how to put it back in the holster, and it'd be safe.
Safety is a big, huge issue, especially when it comes to indie films. And there are a lot of people out there that say, hey, these people that are doing these indie films, even with the weapons that they're doing that are completely safe, they really shouldn't be doing that because they don't have any kind of a safety background or whatever, and so they generalize indie films like that. And I ran into something about 6 months ago where this guy said, well, if you guys are not union represented, then you really shouldn't be doing this kind of work because one of y'all, or maybe a lot of you, are going to get hurt doing it. Talk to me about why, for especially these films you're working on, that's not going to be an issue.
My experience goes back in 25 years in the military. I did a combination active duty and reserve. I retired in 06, and for a while I was a Department of the Air Force police officer. So my background is a little extensive on that, the safety issues. And these guys know, especially if we're dealing with the weapon stuff, even the airsoft points we use.
Right.
Don't be jacking around with that stuff.
Right.
Listen to what I tell you. Excuse me. Even when we brought you out, and I was showing you the AR-15,
yes.
how to hold it,
yes.
and keep it pointed, and that was all, blanks
yes.
in that stuff. And kind of anal about that, and you should be because there's a lot of stuff, even professional.
You always should.
Yeah.
Always, especially in a film set, you should always act like the weapon is live.
Yes.
Live means what?
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
slice,
cut.
slice, or
Stabby,
stabby,
stabby.
stabby.
I like that. Oh, sure, to me.
So, Eric, while you're watching your film progress, and you're seeing the different kinds of people that you're bringing to it, what are you finding out about the talent in Ohio for indie film?
It's much bigger field than I thought it was. The more actors that I recruit, and a lot of them. The thing about a lot of the actors in this movie is they're, how should I put it? A lot of them aren't like, how would you say, classically trained or
Right.
school for it, but they've had experience in other films, which definitely helps. And a lot of them, I've been blessed with this, have been naturals in front of the camera. You know, you included. So.
You too.
It's really important to be able to not only find the right look for the part, but the fact that they need to be able to express that personality on there. Because sometimes you can get what looks right in the physical before you start filming, and it looks like it's going to work wonderful, and then you start doing it and you're like, what I missed? There's something that they're either not getting, or there's something that needs to be added to this, and it takes on a different kind of a look. How often do you run a take and just get everything in one shot?
I wouldn't say very seldom, but once again, we've been lucky to get to like that. Mainly because, first, what I like to do before, as soon as I cast, I like to make sure that, first off, they have the look, the description of what I'm looking for in this character. That's the first thing that comes with it. That's not the only thing. Some people can have the look for, what you're describing, the character you want to play, but they just can't play the role.
They say it's kind of flat.
They seem kind of flat. Like they have the look, but they don't have the personality.
How do you do, if you find someone that is in that kind of a situation where they're coming off flatline on there, is there something that you attempt to do in the first couple of times while you're doing this first before you say, I'm sorry, I can't use you?
If I ever come across a situation like that, the one thing that I like to do, and I do this with all my actors, is I offer a lot of creative freedom, because first of all, the script, it's kind of like the core. I don't really necessarily force my actors to go off the script verbatim. I always say to every one of my actors, put a lot of yourself into the character that you're playing. Become that character, but also be yourself at the same time. So they kind of have to find that little gray area in between where it's like, okay, for example, Jason Fuller, who's a prime example that plays the
We talked about that.
Yeah.
We talked about, I remember I get to see outtakes, and I also get to see some raw footage, and it's one of the first times that I've been able to do that. And James he was sitting down, he was going through his computer, and he said, hey, you want to see some of this? And I said, yeah, of course. So there's this one scene that is with the two detectives, and they're outside, and they're kind of leaning up against the car, and they're having a conversation about some of the stuff that just happened previous. And after I watched it, I said, play it again. I want to see this again, because I want to see if I'm right in thinking about what that particular scene is, because I had seen some other scenes that they didn't quite make that kind of a mark. So he's playing it again, and I said, there, that's what it is. And he goes, what? I said, that looks like it's real. And you went along on the technical side.
I misunderstood. It was real, so I'm thinking all technical.
Right.
I looked with the grain. I said, well, we shot it at night. You were talking the interaction with those two.
I was saying,
Because I'm blonde.
it took,
I'm gray.
and lots of colors,
Yeah.
especially Army colors.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Go Army. All right, so bring it back.
Where were we?
Okay, where were we? We were talking about realism in the film. I had that moment when they're no longer actors, but they're people, and it feels like it just happened for real. That is the kind of texture that Eric and Jason bring to this film. And I know that they've shot other parts and all that. I haven't seen any of the other stuff, but you can tell that there was camaraderie, and there might have been something beforehand. So tell me a little bit about how it is that you were able to do something that you didn't even realize was going on.
For the most part, I guess it goes back to Difford, because that's actually where I first met Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And from our experience with Difford, we didn't really have a lot of time to rehearse until we got on set. So going into Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, I wanted to change that. You know, it's because he's going to be playing my partner throughout this movie. I want to spend a little more time with him, get to know him a little better. First off, rehearsals. I'm very big on rehearsals. Actors going over their lines, getting sure, and it goes back to, you know, you're not having the looks, but not always having
Right.
personality. So I always want to make sure, as soon as my actors get the script, I like to plan a day. It's like, okay, we're gonna get together, we're gonna interact, you know, get to know each other a little bit, go over the lines, go over what you're gonna say, add whatever, and you know, like I said, find that little gray area that you're playing the character and you're playing yourself. And that's mainly what Jason was able to do. And if you look back at Difford and you look at Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, you'll see such a huge progression in Jason. Because Jason had a lot of doubts about his acting, but I saw a lot of determination even throughout the filming of Downfall. And that was another reason that really inspired me to write Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, because that's another character that I wanted to bring back.
Okay, so we're going to go over to Matt Jefferson, and we're going to talk about the downfall of Mr. Difford. Give us a little background about this film. Talk to me about how you were, maybe take us from concept to post-development.
Oh, jeez. When I was studying. No. It's a long
Another
backstory.
world. Far away.
Yeah. I was studying a bunch of underground horror films at the time and seeing which ones were doing well, like Underground and Visions of Suffering. These kind of horror films were doing, you know, they're small, but we're getting a huge reaction.
Yes.
And I figured maybe I could do the same thing. So the original Difford was, you know, based off of them, but it evolved the characters. The entire story evolved into a much bigger film. The two characters, Vic and Gordon, came from another older short film called The Reward, and I decided, you know, well, I always wanted to bring those characters back, so I brought them back here, and I didn't know who were going to play them at the time, but I figured it was like, well, their characteristics are going to be the same. Gordon is basically, he plays by the books. He's more of the good guy. The Vic character, he's good. He's friends with Gordon, but he's more sarcastic and basically is the opposite of Gordon. But that's what makes them, you know, great.
Right. And they need to that's like that in most I would say sitcoms, but also horror films and even regular episode things you would find on television and such. There needs to be that kind of little bit of brashness between them, because that's what brings the pop to what the relationship is. If they're like very flat, they're not going to work well together, and it's going to look like they're just acting. Hey, how are you? I'm fine. How are you today? Comes off flat, other than when somebody comes up and, you know, goes like this or gives a verbal jab.
The characters play off of each other, you know, in the script. But I when I handpicked everybody for the casting, Gordon, for Jason, he was my first pick as Gordon.
What was it about his personality or his background that you said that he would be a good match for this?
I needed a character. That character had to look down to earth. He had to be like someone you go to, and he wouldn't really judge you. And I thought that Jason, he had that look, and not only that, but he has the drive as an actor, and that's what he's gonna, he's gonna continue doing it. and he's going to do great
Gonna make
things
sure it gets
besides
ready.
this.
Yeah. For some reason, I want to take a little bit of time here to talk about ego. We had some people that go and they do a couple of small indie films, and then the next time you speak to them, they're like, yeah, I did this film and blah blah blah, and I made this, and and they go like over the top. And then there are others that do multiple indie films, and they're calm, they're relaxed, they're reserved. They love doing this. Most of what they're doing is not necessarily for the FaceTime and the promotion of them, but the whole entire package. Did you find that to be true with everybody kind of like working together because this is for the love of indie?
Oh yeah, definitely. With certain people who have an ego, it's sometimes hard to work with.
Yes.
But if you get the certain ones who don't have an ego, or if they have, it depends on that person. And the guys who I've associated myself with, they have no ego. And then you can ask them about me. I'll brag about certain things, but my ego is so down to the floor. It's probably beneath the earth's crust.
Do you think that you would eventually like to get into professional film, or do you really love the indie drive and have it so strongly that you probably could just continue doing that?
I would love to do all of the above. Underground, indie, up to the ladder. If I could get up to the A-listers, I would want to do it all. If somebody asked me how long would I want to do it for, I'll do it until I'm, old and frail and walking on a cane. I would still do it.
I believe that you found a distributor for your film?
Oh, me.
Okay, all right, we're going to talk a little bit about distribution. A lot of times people will go, hey, I want to make an indie film, and this is what the script is going to be. These are the people I'm going to do. This is all the stuff we're going to use, and we're going to put it together. It's going to be wonderful. And then they think about, hey, maybe we want other people to see this, and we should probably think about distribution or doing something. But what I've found is if you've already gotten through the film in your post-production and you have it in your hand, the time frame of doing your media stuff, you cut yourself short. One of the things that I like about Wolf in Sheep's Clothing is that you guys are already starting to do some media. You're putting out some very cool banners, and you're talking to people that is helping your fan base be able to grow, and they're telling other people. Talk to me about how important it is for doing that in being able to get people to see your films.
Basically, it's social media. Social media is what's helping. It helped Difford actually sell. It's definitely helping. It's getting a buzz with this movie, and the more you promote, from not only posters to lobby cards, stickers, trailers. If you keep pushing it, you'll start getting more people like, oh, I want to see this movie, whether if it's in a film festival or it's on DVD.
Talk a little bit about film festivals. Have you entered this into film festivals yet?
I have not. I basically, because I was so, intrigued with underground movies, I've just been, selling it online, and that's how it's getting its word of mouth. Sorry.
But you got to start somewhere. There has to be a point where you get and you start pushing your product.
Yeah.
And if you have something that you really, really believe in, there's going to be a niche for it. Not everybody is going to like your stuff.
No.
But the ones that are dedicated to that particular genre, they're going to be like, I want more and I want to see what's going on. What kind of reactions do you get generally from the downfall of Mr. Difford?
Very lucky with that movie. It's well done. A lot of heart really went into that movie from not just myself, but from everyone who had worked on it. And and to see everyone reacting in a positive way. I have not heard one negative review about that movie.
That's cool.
And it's sold. Not only is it sold here in the States, but it's sold in Canada. It's sold
See, that's why
in
I
different
thought that
countries.
that's why I thought that you had distribution company that pulled out, because I know that his film is literally all around the world. And what is that like for you?
It's interesting. I love it.
Yeah.
I would love to have more countries, wanting to check it out. I would love to have Japan. I would love to have, what is it, Mexico, every
So we need
other
to get
place.
this into film festivals. How long is this film?
I think an hour.
A little over an hour.
Yeah.
What, about 60, 65 minutes?
Yeah.
61.
It's not an extreme long movie, but for a low budget movie, I mean.
That's actually pretty long for a indie bankroll of whatever you actually put into it. Would you mind discussing about how much it costs to make this film?
If I really had, when I was in pre-production, I was setting everything up, planning everything. The initial goal was $300 to spend on it, and altogether, Jim even helped me out, and Jason Fuller helped me out too. And the initial, would be $600.
Okay.
To get the DVDs made, I spent like $290 getting 100 copies.
Okay.
100 units, I should say.
Okay. Very, very cool. Very cool. We have some really cool, interesting props here. You want to tell us about them?
Oh yeah. Somebody's appeared in Difford, like this doll. In all my work, I'm actually having this doll appear in a cameo in every film. This actually was used in Difford, this corpse right here. You can actually see the picture on Facebook and everywhere. This was used in a music video, Tiffany Athens at Prayer, and the same goes for this. This is a prosthetic for someone's chest. Here, let me stand up here. Say you cut a hole in your shirt, you glue this to you or tape it to you, and it looks like either just have guts hanging out or just have fake blood. In the right lighting, it will actually look convincing, and it's just made out of paper.
Yeah.
And
So
foil.
can you? Who made this?
I did.
Okay. Talk a little bit about the process of making something that would go on a body.
Basically, it's like a magic trick. It's like if you make it as convincing as you can, fool the audience. I've learned this from Tom Savini, who's my favorite effects artist. And the best way to do it, but I don't have the kind of money, so I had to do it as cheap as I could. So use whatever you have lying around. I have a little bit of liquid latex, but I have a lot of paper, and that's how I use old strip paper. Put it all together, latex this, paint it up, and through.
So would there be
this
something
area.
that would go over this?
Oh yeah, like a T-shirt. Say if I had cut a hole in my shirt, I just slid this under, and spray a little bit of blood on the shirt, and there you have it.
Talk a little
So,
bit about the importance of camera angles when it comes to doing something like that, because I know that there are certain angles, if you go head on with it, it will probably not have the right kind of effect. So what kind of an angle did you use when you shot that?
On that, sometimes you have to do like an overshot on it, or sometimes you would have to do like tilt it up first.
But an angle.
Yeah, it depends on the location, depends on, what the effect is. As long as you frame it just right, you don't see the seams in that, it'll come out, it'll still be the deal.
And who did your lighting for you on
Difford?
on Difford?
Me.
All right, so let's talk about that same scene where you are, shooting for this. Lighting, a lot of times, is one of the most difficultest things, especially for indie film. And because these lighting apparatuses are extremely expensive. And if you are not shooting outside, you're going to have some issues. But even if you're shooting outside, certain colors will look off and they won't look the way they're supposed to. I've learned this from talking with some of the film people that have been on the show. So talk a little bit about the lighting for that particular.
And it also depends on the camera too.
Oh, yes, yes.
When I shot, I used a really, really cheap camera on Difford, so it almost looks like a cross between like early digital and Super 8.
But you know what? I bet that added to the effect that you were looking for.
Oh yeah, it definitely gives it a grindy, grimy, gnarly look to the film. Not that I'm too happy with, but it's like it's a very artistic
It
thing.
makes it a little bit more authentic. The more kind of bumps and I was gonna say grinds.
Yeah, well, no,
That'll be
it's fine.
later when I go over to Diamonds and go see my friend Frank, who runs Diamonds Men's Club downtown Cleveland. I don't know why I decided to give him a spot, but yeah, all of that kind of
Get your
cool
glow
stuff.
sticks.
Yeah, I'm missing my glow sticks here. All right,
I was gonna
so
bring some in.
how the heck did
I was
get
thinking of the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, so lighting, we're just needed a little bit more of a lighting of the mood here. So speaking of lighting, so it was good. I'm still in lighting. All right.
With lighting, I since I don't have the biggest budget, I use these dome lights that you can actually buy at any hardware store.
Okay.
And if you just put like a 50-watt bulb or whatever in there, you have a light source, whether if it's a cheap generator or some people will actually
Steal
let you
somebody's
use their
electricity.
Basically,
Your
yeah.
long cord. So where's that going? Don't worry about that. Just don't trip on it.
Oh, it's been done a lot by us. By us and other filmmakers. Trust
No,
me,
I gotta
everyone's-
now. Since we went to that territory, I need to ask you: have you? And you don't have to answer because sometimes. Have you ever done guerrilla filming? Did you do any guerrilla filming for this piece here?
Yes and no. Did you say Leanne?
Maybe
I
not.
don't think true.
Not like anything that would
No.
would get us in trouble, but
Tell the folks what guerrilla filming is.
guerrilla filmmaking is say if you're shooting in LA and you don't have a permit, because some places you have to have a permit to film. Now, if you don't have that permit, that's basically guerrilla filmmaking, where I'll just do it anyway. You get in there, film it, get the hell out.
Yeah, and it works. We did some guerrilla film making for our very first commercial for Zombiepalooza Radio. Trying to think of what is his production. Well, we don't want to get into trouble. Yeah. Woohoo! I love Jim Danko. He is awesome. And if you need him for any film work, you should look him up.
I think it's No Tolerance Production.
Yeah.
No
that's
Tolerance
it.
Productions. Yeah, Jim Danko. All right.
Good point for you, Jim.
We, yeah, Women's Club, Jim Danko. What else can we shove in there? Who is not here that you really, really feel deserves an extra kind of a push?
Well, Jason Fuller.
Jason
Definitely,
Fuller.
yes.
We've mentioned your name about 5 or 6 times. It would be kind of cool if when you're watching this at whatever point in your life to make a comment down there and all that. And next time I do Zombiepalooza Radio Inside Film or Inside Indie Film, I will make sure to have him on too.
Can I jump in?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
There's 2 other people, and they're both involved in Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. One of them's Bill Banky
Yes.
Yes.
and David Oaks.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
2 outstanding makeup artists, and they're both involved in Wolf. And Bill's been on set already. Dave is gearing up and got the prosthetics ready for a scene that I'm not going to talk about, but
Yeah, no
it's
spoilers here.
gonna be pretty good. But those are 2 guys that should be here.
Yeah, where are they?
Hawking their wares. They
If anything-
So you know
if
what? When
anything,
we do
Dave
the
definitely
next,
would.
Yeah.
when we do the next one for this, because I plan on doing a number of these kinds of interactions so that you can actually see. And like I said, I don't know if I told you to begin with, but one of the reasons why we're here in the basement of All American Comics in Warren, Ohio. Thank you, Greg Bartholomew. I appreciate you. He's the owner. Is because they shot a scene down here. Now, can you talk about this, a little bit of why you picked this place to do that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. This, because it's free. But
Thank you, Greg Bartholomew.
That's the number one.
The basement area, and if you can even.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can get to it.
Do you want to take him around?
Matter of fact, yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
take him
like-
out right now.
Because we can take the camera guy and he can go.
Absolutely.
Give us
Oh,
a
man.
tour.
Yeah, I'm gonna toss it.
All right.
Go ahead.
But
Because I'll feel smart now.
Basically, this whole area we used as kind of a layer and hideout for the film's antagonists, which are known as blacklights. Those are the antagonists for Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. We set things up, we set mask props, we set lights, I'll show you here. We set little candles stuff here, kind of like a pathway for the leader of the blacklights. But basically, when we set everything up, it kind of gave that eerie feel, like, okay, we're in the Lions. We're in, enemy territory. We're in an area that's almost out of this world. But
I'll just say this right now. I won't give anything away, but right here in this location, something happens and it's pretty gruesome.
It's one of the pivotal scenes in the film. But yeah, I mean, Greg Bartholomew, who I've known for a few years, I thank him for letting us use this area. He's actually let other filmmakers use this basement area. We weren't. Dinosaurs with Guns?
Yeah,
film?
yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah. So this is one of the reasons why we're down there. I wanted to show you guys around. We'll look at one of our set locations. Sorry that it's not all decorated and everything, but
you could actually find the pictures on Facebook.
Yes, plenty of them are on Facebook, and once the film's done in its entirety, you'll get to see how it all looks once it's finished. So,
Tell me about the like page.
Oh, like page. We do have a like page on Facebook. It's called Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. Just type in Wolf in Sheep's Clothing movie, and that should be the first thing that pops up. Right now, we are at 212 likes. So
we're around there, yeah.
Around there, yeah. So we're really pushing to get a little higher, maybe 300, 400.
Yeah, we'll do likes.
We're here, and we want to go here. We definitely want to spread the word on this.
We want to go straight to the moon.
Yes.
Not in a punching fist. Or an uppercut.
But metaphorically too.
Oh yeah. All right. So we'll walk back.
And we're walking back to where we're sitting.
So, very good. We actually got 67 views so far. We were watching you a little bit over here. One of the things I like about Facebook Live is that, and I got to get used to the camera guy, because I'm usually just sitting at my computer and doing stuff from here, and I don't have somebody panning around. But one of the coolest things about Facebook Live is that you can go actually to locations. It's very, very simple. When you hit a post, usually when you update your status, they have a section there where you can look down a little bit further and you see a camera and you go hit that go live. All you have to do is put a title in for what you're planning on doing, and then you go. It'll give you a 3, 2, 1, and there it is. So I've also found that on YouTube, you can do the same thing now. So I haven't tried it YouTube Direct yet, but it might be something I'm going to do a little while later on. All right, so now we've got a bunch of really cool masks here. Where do these masks play in what film are they from?
These are the masks that will be included in Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. They're used by the film's antagonists, which are known as the Blacklights. Basically, the whole idea is we want to get a different variety of different mask designs, different how they're painted on, because the thing with each one of the Blacklight characters is in the film they've all done their own type of mask. They all have each individual mask, each individual different characteristics about them. Basically, just to spread fear. Their main goal is fear, chaos, anarchy. In the film, they're targeting not just regular people. They're targeting people who are of authority. Cops, lawyers, judges, different politicians.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there.
Yep.
A lot of times when folks are on the show, we talk about the 3 R's, and the 3 R's are research, realism, and reach. The research is obvious. Realism is extremely important, and when you're doing an indie film, a lot of the talent lately have been really paying attention to detail, and they're also at times pulling things from the headlines. And we had discussed this, I think, a few months ago about whether or not you were causing this film to go and showcase some of the things that are actually happening now as a contemporary piece, or if those particular actions were happening, but you were going to write a film like this anyway, even if that stuff wasn't in the headlines.
A lot of the things that are going on in this film, mainly regarding the black lights, it really does kind of reflect on, I don't want to say fully on modern society, but when it comes to antagonists and stories, I've always been fans of the ones that are real. You know, like most people are fans of movie monsters or, you know, fictional serial killers or demons. I've always been a fan of the ones that are real, like the ones that are really out there, like people that are based, you know, they're actual people out there that I don't really want to say that there's folks out there that are like this, but it's reality. I mean, in the real world, you never know.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's characters like that, you know, you can see them, you can touch them, they're real, and
I have a question for you.
yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Sometimes I ask people, what would you do if your creation actually became real and somebody decided to take your book, your film, your stage, whatever, play, whatever, and actually not only reenact it, but do it in a way, because this is horror and apocalyptic with the feel, that would like go off the edge and do something like that. Is there any concern that you might be propagating this kind of action?
Concern, no, because if you really look at a lot of films, you know, throughout the century, there have been films out there that there have been real life situations that almost reflect on, you know, they're based off of. I mean, a prime example of that, and I hate bringing it up, but the Colorado incident, which happened during the premiere of The Dark Knight Rises, you know, stuff like that. So I think filmmaker, you always take risks like that. You're always going to be able, you have to be able to handle that controversy. I'm one of those weird ones. I love controversy as it is. You know, so it's really, is it a concern? Not really. I mean, I hope to God nobody watches this and decides to, hey, I'm going to go,
let's go do
your mask and go out and start causing chaos. But not to get off topic because we're staying on topic, but real quick is, since we were talking about advertisement, we do have a trailer that will be coming out in a week or so. It's actually going to be premiering Friday, February 24th, during the premiere of a film that John Raines is doing called Exorcism of the Seventh Demon. That looks good there.
That's a good shot.
That's a good shot.
It is a good shot.
But yeah, it'll be our first. It's kind of a teaser. It shows a little bit of what's going on, with basically what the film's about. So definitely, you know, you got
Where
Facebook.
is that going to be? Facebook,
YouTube. If you have either or, which I'm sure most of you do. I mean, the ones that are watching this, you all
Instagram is also taking
Instagram's
film.
another one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Instagram, Twitter, the whole bit. Get one of the ways to be able to start plugging any kind of indie product is to, first off, get on Facebook, because if y'all aren't on Facebook, I know there's a lot of drama on there, but there are ways to be able to cut some of that stuff out. I got tired of seeing a lot of the current political situation. So what I did was I flooded my page with dragons and also a show that RuPaul does, and love that woman. RuPaul's awesome. And I have Lady Gaga and a bunch of other stuff. I'm just trying to think of, the next drag queen. Yeah. Star or something like that, RuPaul. And so I flood my Facebook page so I don't have room for very much of the other stuff. You could do the same thing. Now, there is, though, a way that you can like flood and put too much stuff out there, and then people get bananas about it. So when you're going to post about either your film or somebody else's film that you're working with, how often do you post?
We try to post as much as we can, but it all depends, always.
What content do you have? I mean, content.
Well, content, we try as best we can not to give away a lot of pivotal parts in the story, because if you post too much, you're pretty much just telling the audience the whole
you don't want
film,
to do that, right?
and then there's no reason for them to watch
I'm
the film
talking
anyway.
more about the consistency of how many times you post, like per day or week or whatever. If somebody wants to tie into A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing or The Downfall of Mr. Difford, is their feed going to get flooded with your stuff, or are they just going to see nice every once in a while something?
Once in a while, yeah.
And I think that all ties in with the cross promotion.
Yes.
Because John Raines, in his film Exorcism of the Seventh Demon, there are 3 actors in that are in Wolf in Sheep's Clothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
David Johnson, Don Maxwell,
I know
and
Don.
Paul Worley.
Yes.
All 3 of those are in our film.
And Dawn's in Difford as well.
And Don's
Yes.
also in Difford. And so, and then, so when they post something, so there's something always going on.
Right.
And every time we shoot, and I'm a big nut about behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
And
Me
I
too.
like to show, and I really do try not to show too much.
Right.
And it binds me sometimes because I want to show the good work, but I can't because the film isn't done yet or out there.
I
So
want to
don't wanna
show some. I want to show some pictures of V that you people will probably go, yeah, she's got the personality for it. I'm glad she's probably not going to do this real. But there, I get to play 2 parts in there. One that's just regular, normal, sane, crazy person. That's a good one. Sane, crazy person, which I am. And our son Joshua Chin is in it as well, and I'm very excited to see that he's getting a little bit more film work. And then I get to do something really off the wall crazy. So you got to watch this film just to see that.
Can I jump in real quick?
Oh, yeah, go.
You're talking about, like life imitating art.
Yes.
And even before this started, this type of thing is already out there. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of this is a reflection of that.
So, all right.
So me personally, I wouldn't be worried about somebody being inspired by this because it's out there.
Night of the
Especially like Anonymous.
If
Right.
anything, this stuff was inspired by what's already going on.
Right.
for the most part.
If I'm getting my brain in the correct idea of thinking, there's a film called Night of the Living Dead
Yes.
Yes.
that was extremely contemporary.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were some people that were in the theater when it first came out that got up and left because there were some controversial pivotal points in the film which were much a necessity. But the film creator decided that he wanted to show how people react and how they are at their true grit when there's something horrible coming for them or they're in a horrible situation, and not necessarily all the this is going to be wonderful and we're not going to have to worry about any of this, but show the either the compassion or the anxiety or just the anger at the current situation going on in contemporary times. I think you're hitting a lot of those points. And as we go further into the creation of A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, you're going to really love what you see. It's going to be something that you've never seen before.
Absolutely.
If I had to say anything, George Romero said it best. You know, when making these movies, whether if they're horror, drama, or thrillers, you know, they're going in there to, you know, for a roller coaster ride.
Yes.
And you know, he doesn't even, I don't know if he still believes in this, he may, but he doesn't think though it'll have anyone commit a crime. Hopefully it will prevent it, you know. And these movies
Because
are for
they can see,
entertainment.
because they see what the outcome could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Matt.
I was just
Jefferson.
remembering.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I was trying to remember the guys that actually made that film. No, I
No, it's George.
got a lot of stuff that's going on in my head. Can't
One of
remember
my
everything.
filmmaking titles. You
Yes.
had to stand up,
Yeah.
you know, I'm stretching it. But George Romero and Roger Corman.
Yeah,
Two of
especially
my
Roger.
filmmaking inspirations, because those are two guys that used what was available, friends, family, leftover sets that they had available
People,
for a
not
weekend.
only friends and family, but people that were
No.
actually in roles that he was casting for.
Yeah.
That actually did it in real life.
Yeah.
So, do you have anybody that you're casting right now that actually does whatever it is in real life?
James Schultz,
Yeah.
who plays a very, he's reprising a role that he played in The Downfall of Mr. Difford called Officer Rush, who will also be a recurring character in the continuation of the Winstonville saga.
Yeah.
Has that, you know, he has that background, that military police background. So it really adds to
It
how,
shows, yeah, it
and
does.
it really does with the way he portrays the character, which he portrays it wonderfully, and you'll definitely be seeing more of him.
And that's
in
it's
future
something
projects.
I see, you know, or lack of see in like an independent film. It's like, well, here's a cop, let's throw a uniform on him. And people watch that, and people like me nitpick that.
Right.
That looks like crap.
Especially in the
You could have
uniform.
done a lot better.
I tell you what, I have, and it really doesn't cost. It doesn't cost that much.
Right.
And
You know?
it's funny because it was the Sci-Fi Channel. They have some of these movies. If you look at some of the way how the police officers are or dressed.
Or it's military guys.
Oh yeah, especially
I've
the military
screamed.
guys.
It's
can get real
close
bad.
to the
yeah.
gut.
And you know,
My camera guy's got something to say. Here, give me it.
well,
do
no,
you
but
wanna-
Oh, I'm sure you've seen some of those. Wow.
And what does the camera guy have to
I
say?
retired back in '79. The uniforms have changed dramatically since my time. However, loose equipment, unsecured items on your web gear, carrying hand grenades around, M67 hand grenades, for God's sake, hooked in with the lever, okay? Or having a pin fall out of a hand grenade when it drops. James, have you ever seen anybody rig that sloppy?
no.
Do you know anybody who would be that stupid?
They wouldn't be standing near me. That's
Amen, brother.
so, yeah. But and you know, and even little details like name tapes, no name tapes,
Or
having gear and there's nothing in it, and you can tell.
right, and incorrect ranking. I saw someone,
Oh.
by God,
Yeah.
with a specialist 4 rating on their collar, and they referred to him as captain, and I'm over there doing one of these. Oh God, please let it in.
Yeah.
It's not because there aren't veterans out there who would be more than willing to be advisors.
Right.
It's not that, and I have heard this from a few people on Sci-Fi. They have veterans on staff. They have veterans in working as gaffers. They have veterans, and they're probably over there doing the same thing that James and I are doing. Oh, please, excuse me while I.
What's the point of having an advisor if you're not going to use it?
Yeah.
No, they got them there as employees, but they don't use them as advisors. These guys are all but screaming to get up there and say, please, God, let me fix this for you. It'll only take 2 minutes.
All right, I'm going to give the
I'm sorry, I'm gonna get off my
camera back to
soapbox
the
now.
camera guy here.
It's good though. I agree with you totally.
No, yeah, definitely.
All right, so is there anything that I haven't asked you about so far with this film, or anything that you would want folks to know, either about working in indie film as an independent, which is redundant? I understand. I'm getting a little tired. Go ahead.
As regards to working with indie films, I mean, I definitely say if you got the passion, that's really the first step. The first step is you have to have that passion, you have to have that drive, because if you don't, then you're just doing it just to say, oh, I did a movie. And there are a lot of people out there who's like, yeah, I was in a movie, just to say that they were in a movie. I mean, but then you got the people that have the passion and they're doing it with little to no budget, knowing that they might not barely get any money back for this film, but just, it's what they love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what's our budget, and you coined this phrase, our budget is what? Is what?
Now, Jim loves it. It's a little phrase that I coined. It's called welfare budget.
Bleep it.
No, we're not going to bleep it. It's called welfare budget, which is wrong right now.
There's big budget, micro budget.
Basically, yeah.
And welfare.
Welfare.
Now, basically, with that, it's just all of us sitting around just thinking,
How do we do
what
this?
can our next paycheck get us?
Right.
What can we get with our
Yeah.
next paycheck
Right.
that can help this film? And that's what we do, from
But and now going back to like these frames are ones I had at the house. Stuff I printed off the internet, zero.
Right.
But it
It
adds.
looks realistic because
Yes,
it
it
looks
does.
like it's old and
Yeah,
it's
and you're not going to be looking at it like that. It's in the background.
Right.
And it adds, and that's something else like independent films. I don't see a lot of.
Right.
And
And
even
that
like
detail is important.
like my son is editing this film, and I know he's my son, and I
Does
love
your
him
son
dearly.
have a name?
Yes, he does. Samuel Schultz. He is really talented, and good Lord, yes. I don't know where he gets it from. Probably his mom. But probably. But he's really talented. But there's an opening scene where you and Jason are talking in a car, and the rough edit of it, he threw a police radio in the background because these guys are sitting outside. And Jason's wife picked that up. She's like, "Hey, there's a police thing in there to give, to let the audience know, like, hey, there's two cops on a stakeout."
Right,
there.
right.
And she goes, "You never see that in films, and little attention to detail and stuff." And that's what I try to bring into that attention to detail. Act a certain way, move a certain way.
definitely, yeah.
And thank you for that.
And
Absolutely.
because I get that even on that zombie film we were working on, all the military stuff. And
Right.
granted, it was older stuff, but it's a lot of stuff I already had.
Right.
But I dressed everybody out, and I've gotten a lot of compliments. Going, wow, that's it's older gear and stuff because it's what I had. It didn't
Right.
cost anything.
Right.
So I went.
All right, we're gonna go over to Matt. You started all of this.
Oh, jeez.
You
Yeah.
Sure
started
did.
all of this quite some time ago. What do you think about how it is developing? What from your original concept idea of the downfall of Mr. Difford and how it's progressing into this?
Oh God. The first Difford was supposed to just be one movie, but I was liking the character so much. It's like I changed the ending, and I figured, well, maybe I'll do 2 more films. So I'll do a trilogy. But when we were actually in production, sweating to death in 90-degree weather in a 3rd floor.
Good times.
Yeah, good times.
With heavy clothing on
Oh, yeah,
and the
yeah.
whole and
I was
the
covered in-
this and the that and the all over the.
Oh yeah. Being
It's an
covered-
issue.
Yeah. Eric, we were making jokes.
Or you could
saying-
be freezing.
Oh, that too.
And
yeah.
in a t-shirt and shorts.
I've done that too.
That's because you locked
yes.
yourself out of your house.
Yeah. That too.
But anyway,
Um,
I digress.
Eric, we made a bunch of jokes during filming that Vic and Gordon should have a spin-off. Or like their day off or something like that.
I think
And
you guys should have something.
For
and
that in the future.
Especially after that. After I saw that one scene, I'm like,
Gordon's day off.
yeah.
Gordon's day off.
But
Straight to the number. Like both out of nowhere,
They watch Vic going,
the idea was growing, and one day Eric pulled me aside and said, "Hey man, can I write a script of Vic and Gordon on their own adventure?" And I said, "I didn't think you were serious." It's like, "Sure, go ahead, man." And when that grew, it was slowly growing. I thought of one idea. It was like, "Do you have a villain?" And he said, "No." I was like, "I have this villain called the Blacklight." And he would do all these things, and he would leave little messages, and the only way you could see these messages was with a black light. And he came up with the idea, instead of just one guy doing it, why not have a cult do it?
Entire organization.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And that's and it grew and grew. And when he gave all us the script, it's a phenomenal script. It's not a horror film. It has horror elements,
Yes, it does,
but
yes.
it's more of a thriller drama, and it's going to be really good.
All right. So on that note,
Can I say something real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
But you were asking about people going out and doing that stuff and how to get doing it. You know?
yes.
Don't sit around and talk about it. Go
Oh, yeah.
do it.
Exactly.
It's find like-minded people,
Yeah.
and it's really easy to do that now in the day of communication, and it's so much easier to make a film. We're not using the biggest high-speed camera. We're
Right.
using a Sony high-def camera that I have. I get a really good picture,
Oh yeah, it's nice.
and I invested some money in some lights and a nice boom microphone. So, you know, picture, sound, you're there.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Editing
next
system.
time we go and we do a piece, we'll do it on the sound, on sound.
Yeah, you know what? I have to bring my son in on that because he's
Yeah.
all into sound design and
There's a
and
whole
all.
lot of,
Right.
and when
And see,
I,
that's something else on it in films. You can have a good picture or whatever, but if your sound sucks,
right, it's going
people
to.
are going
They're
to
gonna
go.
notice.
I
Wow,
was worried when I was
yeah.
making Difford about
Yeah.
with the sound, lighting, camera. I mean, I had to put up with what I had, but the lighting and sound had to have been perfect.
Right.
The acting, the effects, the pacing, the music, everything has to be perfect in your movie
Everything
in
has to
order
come together.
for somebody to like it.
We have on the show over the past 4 years. I have taken films and segmented them into the very minute pieces that actually go into creating the film. And there is a plethora of people that are involved, even when it comes to regular, just a small budget or no budget indie film. It's extremely interesting to see what they come up with. And on that note, I'm going to be very, very excited to do another segment of Zombiepalooza Radio live indie film. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, do all of that other stuff, and if you get it, share it. I would really appreciate that. All right, this is Zombiepalooza Radio Live. And we're out. Woohoo!